September is traditionally a weak period for tech stocks, so does it actually make a good time to buy? So Stephanie, first question, are you expecting a weak month for tech?
Well, it is seasonally the slowest month of the year, certainly, but we had such a horrible August and also July. I mean, some companies are down 25, 30, 40%. So I think a lot of the bad news is already factored into these stocks. You may not have a positive catalyst in September, but I don't see a material downside from here.
So does this make actually then a good buying opportunity on the way down?
I think certain stocks and certain themes, right? So I think that what's most important is getting the end market right. And I think services is still a very strong theme. That's Accenture, that's IBM. I think that virtualization, VMware just told us this week at their VMworld that there's been no change in terms of demand trends, and that server virtualization and virtualization in general is poised to grow substantially over the next couple of years. So I think you buy VMware. I think you buy EMC on that news. Networking, I think you've got pockets, right? I think you've got some winners, some losers. Clearly Cisco's having issues, but they're kind of finding their way. It's kind of a cheap stock at these levels. We prefer Juniper, but we know that the third quarter and the fourth quarters for Juniper is really a hard story. It's more of a 2012 story. So, but I think the themes are right. You know, I think that's, you have to get the right end markets, pick very slowly, very carefully, and I think for the long term, you'll be happy.
Now, in terms of theme, sure, but is it the right time to buy? You know, you mentioned Juniper is really a 2012 story, and we did see on Wednesday that a UBS analyst lowered 2012 estimates, predicted that perhaps there could be 10% layoffs in the company, and worried about new product introductions. So it's like, well, is this now the time?
Well, the stock, a third of its market cap is in cash right now, right? So it's one of the cheapest technology stocks out there. So I would say that out of all the names I mentioned, Juniper certainly isn't the one in the near term that's going to see a positive catalyst, unless they actually just deliver in line. I think the expectations, the hurdle rate is so low. But I mean, look, Accenture reported record earnings. IBM reported record earnings with no change, and you still get buybacks and dividends to that story. I would even throw in Oracle. The stock is trading, you know, it troughed at 10 times of earnings during the recession, and yet still grew earnings, you know, high single digits. And I would also argue that Oracle has another product cycle story that's coming that's also underway, and you know, it's trading below its trough level from 2008. So I think there's a lot of names here that you can kind of pick at. Again, I think you do it slowly. I don't think that September is going to be really hot for these stocks, but I do think that, you know, fourth quarter is budget flush, and that's really when you want to be positioned. And I don't think you want to be waiting for October, because the stocks will be up before then.
How heavily weighted do you need to be cautious, but to be ready for that catalyst?
We're underweight tech, but we've been slowly buying on the weakness. I mean, these stocks, some of these days when the market's up, 100, 200 points, these stocks are, underperforming. That's when we're picking at them. We're picking on the red days as well, but very slowly, very carefully, staying disciplined on valuation.
All right, thanks, Stephanie. I appreciate it. Tech, you cannot be scared. There might be some names that you can look to start to buy.